Today I will be covering vascular plants, non-vascular plants, some examples of fungi, and some aquatic plants as well as common crops. So to start off, vascular plants are plants with vascular tissue. Vascular tissue is tissue that supports the plants and gives it minerals and water and food and video games, as well as basically making the plant look good instead of all saggy like the mosses. There are two types of vascular plants, angiosperms and gymnosperms. Angiosperms, commonly known as flowering plants, use flowers to reproduce. Pollen is transferred to another plant, and that's how they reproduce in a nutshell. Haha, nutshell. Gymnosperms, on the other hand, produce cones for reproduction, and these cones have seeds in them. When they are ready to reproduce, they open the seeds and let them waft into other cones. So that is vascular plants and how they reproduce. Non-vascular plants, on the other hand, have no vascular tissue and therefore no significant amount of support. So they sag on the ground like and boar moss, and they are supported by rocks and the terrain. Ferns, on the other hand, have a little bit more support, but they're still very soft and springy. There are two ways that a non-vascular plant can reproduce: by single-celled spore regeneration. I mean, not regeneration, single-cell spores just spreading, and vegetative propagation, which is asexual reproduction. On a quick note, bamboo is a vascular plant. The long tube down there is a really good example of vascular tissue. It's just as big as the whole plant. So yeah. Common crops such as these are angiosperms, as they reproduce by pollination. They also produce fruit, which is a vegetable. It's called a vegetable, but in scientific terms, it's a fruit. There are many different types of aquatic plants, but the water lilies and redfoots shown here are angiosperms. Others aren't even vascular plants at all, such as the kelp. Hello, okay, found. Such as the kelp. The kelp is just basically a multicellular algae organism that also happens to be very large and noticeable. Coral is also not a plant. It's a collection of tiny organisms, but it makes for great decorating. Some aquatic plants need to be completely submerged, such as coon's tails, while others can live on the surface, like the lilies, or even half out, such as the rice and the common reeds. Other aquatic plants are used for food, such as rice and duckweed, although it's not that commonly eaten in the US. This is not Australia. Fungi are members of domain Eukarya. They have their own kingdom fungi, and they are really nasty, such as this turkey tail. In real life, it grows on rotting wood, not just normal wood like this, but rotting wood. This mushroom, as you see here, gives you poison if you stand on it, so it's not that nice to you either. Others, such as the Santa Lurlei and the black powder puff, can be eaten and are actually really healthy for you. Just don't eat the orange ones. Kids, don't eat the woolly gumphus. On a side note, vascular plants get their food and water by absorbing it directly into their cells and body, since they have no real roots. Those roots might resemble there might be parts that resemble roots, but they're not roots. Other plants, such as ivy, are non-vascular plants, and they depend on trees to survive. Parasol mushrooms are safe to eat, by the way. Eat as many of these as you want, even though I hate mushrooms. The second biggest difference between vascular plants and non-vascular plants is that vascular plants go through photosynthesis, which is the process in which a plant turns water and minerals and sunlight into glucose or food. The reason is that their leaves have small pores to absorb air, while to absorb carbon dioxide, while these just get their food from the ground, basically. Most aquatic plants do have roots, unlike the kelp, which keeps on disappearing on me, maybe because it's meant for use in oceans. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you learned a lot, maybe not. Well, anyways, don't poison yourself, don't shove reeds up your throat, and have a nice day.